Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking to you about some pack management considerations. So when you're at the stage with your dog where they can do place training, they understand the concept, you're getting to the point where your dog is consistently giving you settled behavior, now we want to start advancing your individual dogs with the other members in the pack. So as you can see here, we have our 6-year-old dog Rooster, we have our 9-month-old puppy Rush, and our 10-month-old puppy Bug over here on the far side. So these guys have done this for a long time. We have made this a priority early on in their puppy development. And it doesn't matter if your dogs are showing aggression towards each other, if they're unsure towards each other, or like these two puppies, they generally get to a level of over-arousal with each other. Having the ability for your dogs in the pack to be able to all hit that off switch near each other, and they don't have to be physically separated and can still achieve a calm mental state, will pay dividends in overall mental development. It's very, very important that we teach your dogs how to mentally downregulate that nervous system, how to achieve that calm mental state, through conditioned practice of place training, not only by themselves, but definitely with and around each other as well. So let's just talk through a few examples. Right now with our two puppies, they're obviously learning to achieve that calm mental state near each other. So now they can have the freedom to go play, run around, chase each other. But when I see that they're getting overstimulated or certain lengths of time, I want to make sure that we're accessing the other part of their brain, the more important part, through proper development mentally, the calm side. And so that's exactly what we do every single evening, throughout the day. Whenever we're not directly training with these puppies, they're doing some sort of independence work. They have advanced away from the kennel. We've taken down the walls of the perimeter fence, and we're able to get the dogs to just do this. Just exist near each other, not leave the bed and go play with each other, not go chew on things, not go counter surf. We are being proactive, and we're circumventing a lot of negative behaviors that we see and we help owners with. It is all a symptom of your dog not knowing what to do, and their mind is still racing. And so their mind says, go do behaviors A, B, and C, and those can more likely than not be problematic. Now let's talk about the other side of the equation. If we're having aggression issues, or if we're just generally bring a new puppy home and our older dog is unsure of them and we're still working on the warming up. Doing these types of exercises will not only benefit your puppy, it will greatly benefit your older dog. If they have never had any semblance of calming work, mental development, down-regulation work, I strongly urge you to do these activities with your older dog as well. This will only help them learn how to deal with stressors better, help them control their emotions, a little bit easier, and then also give your dogs a better relationship. I wanted to show you here with all three of our dogs from the pack, because our 6-year-old dog Rooster, he is very much on his own program. He gets to free roam in the home. When these two get put in kennels, he does not. He generally has a lot more freedom than the other puppies in the home. If I have food out, he can be around it. I can literally, like I had breakfast this morning, I put my plate down on the table right here, right where he's laying, feet away from it, and I can go and do a couple of things before I come back to eat, and he will not touch the food. Now, we've worked very hard to get to that point of trust and understanding, but I wanted to illustrate we're doing all this work with our puppies to get to this point. Now, one thing about Rooster with these puppies that we've been very adamant about, very intentional about, is the development where he understands that myself, my wife, we are going to intervene on his behalf if the puppies get too intrusive. We are going to help him enforce his boundaries. Now, of course, there is some benefits for dogs correcting each other, for a strong, socially neutral dog to give a correction to a young puppy. That can be very important, very beneficial, and very impactful for that young dog. But the key with that is we have to have a dog that's an older dog, that's a mentally balanced dog, which Rooster definitely is. Now, what I don't like from that is if we have an unbalanced older dog trying to correct an overzealous puppy, overactive puppy, then sometimes that does not go well. And if we constantly rely on the older dog to put the puppies in check and we're absent, then eventually we have to understand that that puppy, depending on their breed, their drive, their genetic makeup, their personality, they may advance and get to an age where that doesn't turn into a, okay, older brother put me in check, and your younger dog is now fighting back, things escalate. We've seen it countless amounts of times. So I do not like to rely on the older dog putting the younger dogs in check. What this is doing right now is we're reinforcing to our older dog that we, as the humans, as the leaders of the pack, are going to establish these boundaries and give these puppies those boundaries and make sure that we do that so he doesn't have to advocate for himself. He's assured that we are going to advocate on his behalf. So let's talk about some specifics now. Some things I want you to do initially to give you more success. You'll notice the two pups, they have leashes on, they have collars on. So right now we just have leashes hooked up to their prong collars. It can literally be a slip leash, it doesn't matter. We have these on so that way we can manage their behavior throughout the house. Rarely do we have leashes on when they're at this stage for just Maddie and I. Normally we'll rely on e-collar, or they can be here naked neck and still understand place. What the leash does, what the e-collar can do, what these training collars can do, it just makes it more effective for communication. So if we have to reset them, we can. But we've advanced to the point where it's just evening time right now. Lights are off, we're hitting that circadian rhythm, the dogs know it's nighttime, they can lay here with nothing on their necks and be fine. But if we have guests come over, if we're handymen, we have visitors, one of us is getting home from errands or work, then we will have collars on in these situations and leashes on, so that way it helps us reset them more effectively, teach them more effectively. When your dog is starting out with this, and again, if you haven't yet, watch our introduction to the place command, how to prolong the mental endurance. We have a couple videos on how to get to these steps. But when you're at these steps, we definitely want leashes on the dogs so that way we can reset them effectively. I have Bug right now illustrating a tether. So this is like an anchor or a tether, depending on your dog's size, breed, strength, impulses, all that good stuff. You can secure your dog's leash to something like a door handle, a heavy piece of furniture, and then that way, when we're moving around and doing things around the home in this general environment, our dog has that anchor. If they mess up and come off the bed, then they're not, running across the house, and it's just a psychological starting point that they understand, okay, I'm tethered. One or two self-corrections, they'll know that it's not worth the fight. And then we advance to the point where Rush just has his leash here. We have our 10-footers on. It just makes it easier for everybody. If they can wear a 4-foot leash, it doesn't matter. But now if he tries to follow me, I can mark it no verbally. That's what I want you to do. Mark it no. Nothing changes with that whole process. And then we reset them back here, however long that takes. So we reset them back on their bed, and then we move away from them again. And as they get better and more comfortable around each other and better with their play skills, we can move these beds closer and closer to each other. So when we get back from walks, when we get back from activities, whatever that appropriate activity is for your dog, their learning point and their age, etc., we can then down-regulate, tell them to chill out on their beds, place, whatever your command is, and we work that distance closer to each other for longer periods of time. Now, they both have their set boundaries. Neither of them is allowed to get off and go mess with the other one, go get on the other one's space, go off and disregard our commands. They have to hold this spot and do what they're doing now, which is falling asleep, literally do nothing. They have to hold this until we release them for the next activity. If you're worried about safety considerations, highly suggest you muzzle your dogs during these points so that way they don't start fights with each other. And if they do start a little altercation, we can safely and effectively correct them, reset them, and make them work through it. Rush is also illustrating a little bit of what I want you guys to be cautious about is when your dogs are on the beds, generally ignore them. You don't have to overpraise them, over-reward them, just generally ignore them, but keep an eye on them, because if they start chewing on the bed, chewing on the leash, they're going to have impulses still, they're going to have frustrations, and once they understand mentally that they can't leave, you might see a dog trying to chew on furniture close by. You may see a dog trying to chew on a leash that's hanging from their neck. So be cognizant of that, be aware of that. Don't just put on your blinders and get sucked into the TV and don't pay attention to your dog. Always be aware you're still monitoring them. And if they are chewing on it or chewing on something, disrupt that in an effective way. So these are the steps that I want you to work on as we start working on pack management. Remember, it doesn't have to just be for aggression. This is a way that we rehabilitate that all the time, is getting the pack members to learn how to chill near each other, passively socialize. But it's also really good development for your puppies because we want them to understand that it's not always playtime. We're not always in Chuck E. Cheese or in the dojo when we're in here. They can do this on their own, and then we want to establish that good trust and faith with our older dogs as well. So give this a try with your pack. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out, leave a comment, and like and subscribe so that way we can see you in the next video. Thank you.